Welcome to Slow News Day Live. My name is Steve Boykin, and I am here in beautiful Boulder Creek, California, where it's drizzly and a little bit fucking chilly. I've been having nothing but problems trying to live stream for the last. This is getting frustrating. Hopefully, the stream holds this time because I've got stuff that I feel like we all need to talk about. So let's get right to it. If you are so inclined, hit the like button, please, and share the stream. This is my second day of monitor. There is a super chat button if you're so inclined. If not, I totally understand. Sweden. There is a super chat button if you're so inclined. If not, I totally understand. Sweden has dropped its investigation of Julian Assange again. I'm going to go ahead and read from defendwikileaks.org here real quick, and I will throw the link in the description as well. From the outset of this preliminary investigation, Julian Assange's expressed concern has been that waiting in the wings was a United States request that would be unstoppable from Sweden and result in his spending the rest of his life in a U.S. prison. Now that the U.S. does seek Mr. Assange's extradition to stand trial on unprecedented charges for journalistic work, it continues to be a matter of extreme regret that this reality was never acknowledged, and that in turn a process in Sweden with which Mr. Assange has always expressed his willingness to engage, and indeed did so, became so exceptionally politicized itself. Okay, so here's what happened. The UN investigated the procedural history of Swedish preliminary investigation against Julian Assange. The conclusions are clear. The matter became rapidly politicized, and there has been no prospect for a fair hearing in years. According to Kristen Hramson, WikiLeaks editor-in-chief currently, Sweden dropped its preliminary investigation into Mr. Assange for the third time after reopening it without any new evidence or information. Let us now focus on the threat Mr. Assange has been warning us about for years, the belligerent prosecution of the United States and the threat it poses to the First Amendment. Let's kind of go back in history here a little bit. It's not that the video looks like it's better quality, Jeff. It's that I pointed a bright ass light at my face, and it's a little bit more lit up. I think that's what it might be. But yeah, let's hop in the Wayback Machine here a little bit. And I'm going to do this via Hannah Johansson, who's one of Julian Assange's lawyers, and an excellent thread that she put together on Twitter earlier today. And we're going to work our way backwards because we're going to start with a September 12th letter from Niels Melzer, the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture. He has been incredibly vocal and just brilliantly outspoken in his defense of Julian Assange and stepping forward and letting people become aware of the fact that Julian Assange is being tortured, has been subjected to torture for a number of years. The letter reads, oh, I can't read the whole thing. Well, God damn it. Oh, here we go. I'll figure this live streaming thing out eventually, right around the time YouTube. In my capacity as Special Rapporteur on Torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment pursuant to Human Rights Council Resolution 3419. In reference to my communication sent on 28th of May of this year on the case of Julian Assange, I would like to thank your government for the response dated 12 July. While I sincerely appreciate the explanations provided and views expressed by Your Excellency's government, they do not alleviate my serious concerns with regard to the implementation, in this case, of Sweden's obligations in relation to the prohibition against torture and other cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. By way of the present letter, I therefore would like to provide the following additional observations and clarifications. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I am going to highlight a few things that are relevant to Sweden dismissing its case. And in this circumstance, that is the third thing that Nils is pointing out. Called the report, and it's highlighted as the reported arbitrariness of the preliminary investigation. He says, I also note that your government rejects any suggestion that the Swedish public authorities had any other grounds for their action than the investigation of the criminal offense Mr. Assange is suspected of in Sweden. The clarification of this question is relevant to my mandate because the manner in which the preliminary investigation against Julian Assange has been conducted by the Swedish prosecution appears to have contributed significantly, if not decisively, to various patterns of cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment, which Mr. Assange has been exposed to since 2010. Let's if you guys remember, or maybe you don't know, but back when the investigation into Julian Assange was opened up, Julian Assange and his legal team straight up said, I am happy to meet with you. I am happy to discuss these charges as long as this isn't a trap and I don't step foot on Swedish soil and immediately get extradited to the US. If you can guarantee me that this meeting will be between me and the Swedish officials who are responsible for leading this investigation, I'm happy to answer questions. If not, I'm not going to do it. Really, I'm not getting any like bad whatever from the stream. Maybe, I don't know, maybe refresh. I'm sorry, I don't know. This is actually working okay-ish on this end. Let me see what it looks like over here. Yeah, no, it doesn't look terrible over here either. Was accused of a sexual assault of not letting his partner know that he wasn't wearing a condom. That was the official reasoning. The woman in question brought forth a condom that he had supposedly taken off during sex. This condom had no DNA on it. It didn't have his, it didn't have hers. It was a magic condom that absorbed no human DNA whatsoever. Not even a little bit. At the point of the Swedish government telling Julian Assange, no, we can't guarantee you that you will not be immediately swooped up and extradited to the US if you come to Sweden to talk to us about this, he sought asylum at the Ecuadorian embassy. Julian Assange did not seek asylum from extradition to Sweden. He sought asylum from onward extradition to the United States. UK and Swedish governments refused to guarantee no US extradition. Highlighting just one piece on Hannah's thread in Julian's application for asylum, he says, it is not my wish to avoid investigation or indeed trial in Sweden. However unjust I believe the context to date to have been. I would welcome the opportunity after so long of defending myself and clearing my name. Were I able, as I believe I am not, to know that I had any other route by which I could counter the accusations and the way in which those accusations have been mounted against me by the USA, and the methods by which I will be treated and my conviction inevitably achieved in that country, I would, and in the future will take it. This is Julian Assange flat out saying, I will come and face these trials, or these charges, spurious and ridiculous as they may be. Oh, now I see the pixelation thing. That's fucking crazy. Just let me know that it's not an extradition trap. And at no point would anyone guarantee the man that it wasn't an extradition trap. A little bit. In 2013, an affidavit in relation to a criminal complaint into the suspected illegal seizure of his suitcase containing laptops at the Stockholm airport, 27th of September 2010. Hannah has highlighted, in particular, this affidavit focuses on two previously unreported events. The first concerns the physical surveillance by the U.S. military intelligence of Julian Assange at a Congress in Berlin in 2009. The U.S. military used the results of this surveillance of me to convict then Bradley Manning of wanton publication. I understand by my lawyers that this testimony may also be used in the ongoing U.S. Department of Justice action against myself and my publishing organization. The second concerns the suspected illegal seizure on 27th September 2010 of my suitcase on a direct flight within the Schengen border-free area from Stockholm to Berlin. The suitcase carried 3 laptops containing WikiLeaks material, associated data, and privileged communications protected under client-attorney confidentiality laws and source protection laws. The suspected seizure or theft occurred at a time of intense attempts by the U.S. to stop WikiLeaks publications of 2010. And if you remember, the 27th of September is right in between the release of the Iraq war logs. I'm not referencing an article, Taylor. I'm going through Hannah Jo Jonason's thread on Twitter that she put up today. That was kind of here's how we got to this point of Julian Assange's investigation being dismissed, again. Oh, thank you, Chris. Yeah, we should go over this a little bit tomorrow night too on the vigil. In 2016, Julian Assange provided a statement to Swedish prosecutors after the first time that this case had been dismissed and then reopened for the second time. 14th and 15th of November 2010. I'm going to highlight and read off bullet point or section 12 that Hannah's copied and put up on the thread. I reiterate that over the past 6 years, I have continued to call for this prosecutor to accept my statement, including by willingly attending a questioning on the 30th of August 2010 in Stockholm, where no questions were asked about the allegation, as I had already been cleared. Staying in Sweden for more than 5 weeks longer than planned, repeatedly asking if or when I could give a statement despite pressing commitments elsewhere. Gaining the prosecutor's consent to leave Sweden before doing so on the 27th September in 2010 in good faith, understanding that I was not required to provide a further statement for the time being. On the day I left the country, 3 of my encrypted laptops were seized from me at Stockholm's Arlanda airport. The laptops contained evidence of war crimes, pending publication, and protected legal correspondence. Offering to return to Sweden to give a statement in October of 2010. Offering to give my statement from London by numerous methods, including telephone or video link, in writing from London between October 2010 and up to and through the prosecutor unnecessarily issuing a European arrest warrant. The European arrest warrant attempted to extradite me without charge from the UK to Sweden to take my statement. I was actively offering the testimony she claimed she wanted when she sought my arrest. Providing a DNA sample 6 years ago in December 2010 when I was first arrested at Sweden's request, and which has been available to the prosecutor for the last 6 years. She has never bothered to even attempt to use it. Offering to give a statement in London via mutual legal assistance, among other suggestions, during my time of house arrest, 7th December 2010 through June 19th, 2012, offering to give a statement in the Ecuadorian embassy in London as from the 19th of June 2012, for instance, via email from my Swedish lawyers, and during a meeting between my lawyers and the prosecutors in Stockholm in 2013, over 4 years ago and over 3 years ago, respectively. And finally, offering to come to Sweden, provided Sweden would give me a guarantee that I am not extradited to another state over my publishing work. This offer was also requested by Ecuador through diplomatic channels and publicly in 2012, as I am a refugee in its jurisdiction. Friends and neighbors, the amount of legwork that Julian Assange went through, the amount of personal pain and stress that he went through in order to make himself available, in order to be able to answer these charges, there's questions about this investigation, no matter how fucking trumped up and ridiculous they were. And yet still, forced to remain in the Ecuadorian embassy as this investigation was dropped and then reinvigorated, and dropped and then reinvigorated, and now finally dismissed for good because they know there's no need for this investigation anymore. Julian Assange is clearly a political prisoner awaiting extradition. Sweden's role in this is over. They know it was a bullshit charge to begin with. They know that because of this bullshit charge, for 9 solid years, the people who manufacture confusion, the people who manage the narrative, and the unwitting, even if well-intentioned, fucking idiots in progressive and mainstream media that have repeated the word rape ad nauseum over the last 9 years, knowing full and damn well, or maybe being fooled into thinking, one or the other, there were no rape charges. None. Zero. I will say that again. There were no rape charges. Yet, for nearly a decade, we've heard this smear that Assange is a rapist or he's hiding out in the Ecuadorian embassy in order to dodge rape charges. Embassies don't let you in. You are not granted asylum based simply on the fact that some country is accusing you of rape. That's not how that goes down. The asylum process isn't granted if you tell them that you are unfairly being accused of rape. That's not how that goes. Again, as Hannah Johnson demonstrated quite nicely in the thread, by the way, sought asylum from onward extradition to the United States. It was a very public campaign against Julian Assange. The result of that being the Ecuadorian government was hip to the fact that the U.S. was trying to extradite an Australian-born publisher through Sweden so that they could charge an Australian under the United States Espionage Act. Because that makes sense, because we live in a fucking cartoon. All right. Politicians in our government have called for his death before. Absolutely. If you go to WikiLeaks YouTube page, there's a mashup of all of the politicians calling for the assassination of Julian Assange. And drone strikes seems to be the most common one. Like, it's nothing for people who are inside the Beltway to sit around and casually wish out loud for a drone strike for a publisher and a journalist. Imagine what they're saying when the cameras aren't rolling. Thanks to WikiLeaks, we know what they're saying when the cameras aren't rolling, which is why it's so fucking important that we stop the extradition of Julian Assange. I'm going to go on here a little bit because, where'd it go? No, you know what? Actually, I want to go back to independent media getting this so fucking wrong for almost a decade because it's only hurt what we're trying to do with Action for Assange. The word action is in the name. I want to make this perfectly clear. We've caught a little bit of flack over the last several months for not being Unity for J, for directly calling out the politicians who aren't doing what they need to do to ensure the life and livelihood of Julian Assange that we have left in 2019. Action for Assange implies that movement. Actually, we are generating that. To that point, we to cover the extradition hearing of Julian Assange. I honestly don't know if I've talked about this on the show or not before. The Action for Assange crew knows, and I think you guys know too, State Department. We would like to be the U.S. media presence that accurately covers this, that fairly covers this, that gives you interviews with the people on the ground that came to support Julian. So we're raising money for it now. I will put a link to the GoFundMe in the description, but maybe if Taylor is still in the chat, she can put it in the thread. Oh, of course it's buffering. That's intense. Fuck YouTube. Okay. Yeah, if you want to throw a link, oh, you can. Yeah, you can. You can throw you have admin privileges. I'm gonna go back to the article on Defend WikiLeaks here, just to kind of wrap up the updates about Julian Assange. It's a goddamn shame that so many people in independent media have fucked this up. It's a goddamn shame that more people aren't calling them out. I did see Taylor trying to set Nico House straight today, and that was good. I always appreciate that. But what it does is it helps assassinate the character of a man who does not need any help with character assassination because the intelligence agencies of several countries are trying to destroy him. If you're an unwitting participant, if you are well-intentioned but suckered into okay, thank you, Freethinker. If you're suckered into repeating mainstream media talking points on your left fucking independent news channel, you're not independent and you're not left. If all you're doing with your show is using mainstream media for the baseline material for your content and trying to get a different kind of Democrat elected, and you'll occasionally talk about some social justice issues or some identity politics issues, you're not independent media, you're MSNBC with a really fucking tiny budget, and you're not fucking helping. Wrap on the politicization of this. Trump administration has initiated a highly politicized prosecution. Under the Trump administration, the U.S. is taking the intention to prosecute under Obama to its extreme by seeking an effective death penalty for Assange under the outdated 1917 Espionage Act. It is the first time the U.S. has applied the Espionage Act to a publisher. And again, it is a publisher who is not a U.S.-born citizen. The Trump administration is seeking a 175-year prison sentence for the same journalistic work that has won Mr. Assange and WikiLeaks dozens of journalism prizes. The potential sentence against the publisher under President Trump is 40 years longer than the potential sentence against Chelsea Manning under President Obama. The Trump administration's prosecution of Assange will deal a fatal blow to the First Amendment in the U.S. and set back press freedoms globally. The UK Crown Prosecution Service, now acting for the United States in the extradition proceedings against Mr. Assange, artificially prolonged the Swedish preliminary investigation by advising Sweden against questioning Mr. Assange in the UK. And the SPA informed the UK of its intentions to drop the investigation against Assange in 2013. The UK CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, pressured Sweden into keeping the investigation alive. My face is being strangely pixelated. I don't have an answer for that. I don't. Maybe I can get a new camera up soon. I'm on my second backup camera. You know what, Freethinker? I cold messaged Lee Stranahan today on Twitter. I have no idea what that will do. Oh yeah, it's not fucking with any of the rest of the background either, huh? Well, I'm not gonna keep this super long then. I wanted to bring up something though. Let me pull up Zero Hedge. And reported like a 16.8 million. This is irritating. All over them planets that Sweden had dropped this case for no stated reason whatsoever. Belmarsh Prison canceled. It looks like this Sunday, my guest will be Jared Beck, DNC fraud lawsuit attorney, notorious, hated by everyone for no fucking reason at all, introvert. And yeah, that's about it. I will see you guys if I will not see you before Free Assange tomorrow. Tomorrow night on Action for Assange's YouTube channel, a little bit earlier than usual. We will be having the Free Assange Vigil. Please tune into that. I will have a couple of more streams throughout the week. And then Jared Beck on Sunday. I will have new Patreon content up as well this week. I've got an interview scheduled for that. And I'm going to upload some YouTube content onto the Patreon as well. In the meantime, this has been Slow News Day. I'm Steve Boykinen. Good luck to us all. Thanks for hanging out.